Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Livestream Under the Moonshine with Zaxter99. This is episode number 183. Tonight, part 7 of An Octave Higher. This is a visual novel that we've been reading pretty much every day of the week on my Livestream Under the Moonshine for now the last 7 days in a row. And we are determined to get through this thing. Even though this thing is starting to look like it's going to be around a 25, maybe even 28, 30 hours in total length of reading time. It's been really captivating, really interesting, I think. And those of you who have been listening have been eager to hear more and more of it. So, welcome, guys. I want to go ahead and say earlier today, should have known ahead of time yesterday and kind of let you guys know ahead of time. Games of Our Lives did not happen earlier. Not because I didn't want to do it, but because today was mine and my wife's 10th anniversary. We got married exactly 10 years ago today. So I was busy. And yeah, so that did not happen. So other things took a priority, family and stuff like that. And things are going to happen, guys, where, live streams are going to get canceled or put off. In this situation, it's just being put off until after we read An Octave Higher. So I will be playing Dead by Daylight on my Games of Our Lives, probably about a half hour after we end the read through the part 7 of An Octave Higher tonight. So welcome everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? We're going to go ahead and get started where we left off yesterday, and we had a big choice to make. We definitely had a big choice to make, guys. With An Octave Higher, we had to decide, after going to the brothel to rescue Lord Frederick from the thug punks, the proles, if you would, on the dark side of town that he got himself into by being such a frustrated mess and causing a scene out there by Magical Mechanical and the broken piano. Frederick was angry and went walking into the dark alleyways and said the wrong things to the wrong people and got himself in trouble. So with that, we decided, well, we as in Franz and Elise had went to deliver a message to Lord Frederick's father. And he had shown concern about where his son was. And Franz had no idea that, he never returned home. So at that point, they decided they might need to go look for him. And they got some clues by walking around and talking to people in the dark side of town what happened to him, and they did find out that he had been taken to the brothel. And they went and rescued him from what was his name? The big evil guy. Evidently, he's really powerful, and it took both Franz and Lord Frederick working together, using magic together, to take this guy out. And when they did, still Lord Frederick showed no thank you, no kind of happiness that he was saved and rescued. He was still looking for a fight with Lord Frederick. And so we're going to continue where we left off yesterday and pick that up. Yes, AJ, absolutely. 10 years is a long time to be married. A lot of people, like half the people nowadays, don't even make it a year. So, yes, congratulations to my wife and I. And welcome back, everybody. So, we are taking the place of Franz. We have to make a decision. Franz wants to fight. Franz wants to fight right now, basically after, taking out this evil prole. And if somebody remembers his name, please remind me. I can't remember what his name was. Oliver or something. I don't remember. But anyway, we took him out. We buried him under rubble. It took both Frederick and Franz working together to do that. I was thinking that might be a moment where, you know, things started changing between Lord Frederick and Franz. But immediately after the fight was won, Lord Frederick was angry and still looking for a fight with Franz. And I don't know if he's still angry because Elise didn't, you know, jump into his face for writing down that song for her, or because he's being rejected by Elise, you know, or because he's angry at his father. I don't know what his big deal is, but yeah, he's Oliver. There you go. Yep. So, Hendrix. There you go. Yeah, Hendrix was his name. Thank you, AJ. Yeah, I knew I couldn't remember his name. So there we go, guys. We are going to pick this up, and Franz is saying Frederick's not going to be satisfied until we get in a fight. But he had also made a point at the end of the video last night that even if he wins the fight, it's not going to do any good. You know, it's certainly not going to impress Elise or his friend Aretha. So nothing good is going to come out of fighting, no matter how it goes. Either he's going to get his butt kicked by Frederick, or even if he wins, he is, you know, nothing good's going to come of it. AJ last night was urging me to not fight. So here we go, guys. We have the option here right now of either fighting Frederick or don't fight Frederick. And guys, this is a pretty easy decision for me. We are going to be the bigger man. And not only because this is what I think I would want to do. This is what, based on everything I've read so far about the character that Franz is playing, I also think that this is the more plausible situation for Franz. Just like earlier, I think it was in part 5, we had made a decision for Lord Frederick to continue agging on the fight. And that was a decision not based on what I thought would be best, but I made a decision based on what I thought Frederick would actually do, the more plausible thing that would actually happen based on what I've read so far. So again, I'm making this decision not even based on what AJ is saying or urging me to do. I'm making this decision here based on what I think is the more plausible scenario. I think that Franz would not fight Frederick. So we're going to go ahead and don't fight Frederick. We'll see what happens. Maybe he's going to force a fight. Let's find out. No, we can't fight. It just wouldn't be right. And so Franz says, I don't want to fight you, Frederick. And Frederick's like pauses. Shit. He looks away, irritated. And Aretha's like, well, we should be happy that everyone is safe. And he says, like, what about Commander Wolf and the police? Well, looks like they already have the situation under control. I wouldn't worry about them. They're professionals. Yeah, good point. What a day. I'm glad everyone is safe. Should we go home now? Yes, my mom is going to kill me for almost getting killed like this. Don't worry. I'll drink a mana potion before we get home. I'll heal you if I need it. If you need it. Haha. Frederick is still mad, obviously. And see, that actually would have been a good stopping point right there last night, but I never know how the story is going to go, so I always look for as good as a stopping point as I can to stop a live stream. So before sunrise, the police had the situation contained. Many Libertad members were apprehended that night at Maison de Beauvoir. Some who had fled were later captured around the area. A few turned themselves in. The police operation was a success, especially because they managed to arrest the Libertad's leader, Fyodor Hendrix. There you go. About a moment later, in October, the Libertad members were tried on charges of assault, theft, kidnapping, treason, and many more. Fyodor Hendrix was the sole Libertad representative at the trial. The remaining Libertad members stayed behind in prison. The only other defendant was Madame Edith de Beauvoir, who was charged as an accessory to the Libertad's crimes for harboring the traitors. Oh, wow. The trial didn't take long. In a matter of a few hours, the jury delivered a guilty verdict on all charges. The judge handed out life sentences to all Libertad members. Holy cow. And Madame Ivor was sentenced to 10 years. Wow, guys. Wow. This is huge news. So the Madame Ivor who owns the brothel was sentenced to 10 years for harboring, the Libertad members, giving them a place to stay, an accessory to what they were doing, basically. And everybody else, all the other Libertad members, had life sentences. Damn. In a move that set historical precedent for the reigning monarch, the king himself overruled the judge's decision for one of the defendants. Fyodor Hendricks' sentence was upgraded to the death penalty. Oh, damn. Damn. Yeah, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. How about that, though? A death sentence for Hendricks. A fortnight later, the sentence was carried out. Fyodor Hendricks was executed in a public forum. Thousands of citizens turned out for the event. And that was the end of Libertad. The citizens breathed a collective sigh of relief, even those who had opposed the public execution. And a key member of Libertad, Jisung, oh my god, that Jisung Alagai guy. Why do I feel like this is the end of the story? I mean, we just looked at it last night. It said 42% of it was red. Anyway, a key member of the Libertad, Jisung Alashbana, was, however, never found. We later learned from Commander Wolf that Jisung had managed to escape from Maison de Beauvoir in the confusion of the mass arrest following the defeat of Hendricks. The police had been searching for Jisung since then, but to no avail. But with the organization dissolved, Overture is once again safe. Wow. That didn't go exactly as I figured it might go. Alright, so Sunday, the 15th of Quintilis. So we're advancing in time now. What, a couple weeks? A couple months? I don't know. Elise says, wow, look at Elise. Look at her. Damn, she's looking hot there. Your afternoon tea, my lord. And Frederick's like I said, Elise, you don't have to call me. Whoa, what is that outfit? Damn, that's what I'm saying. This is Elise like we've never seen her before. Hey, Taylor, how you doing? Welcome, bud. I met Aretha this morning, and she said, since I now work as a maid, I should wear this maid uniform as a fan service. Damn, I thought she would. I thought she didn't want any part of being in that brothel, but I think she could have got some business at the brothel like that. Oh yeah, it's been more than a couple of years, huh? Yeah, because it was 313, and what did the year say? Was it 315? A couple of years, huh? Yeah, I didn't notice the year. I know the year all this time has been 3:13 a.m. Did it say 3:15 a.m. now? I don't even remember. Yeah, not just a couple weeks. It's been a couple of years if it did say 3:15. All right, my bad. I didn't even notice the year until AJ said something. See, that's why I love live streaming, because you guys can correct me. Oh, it's at 3:14. Okay, so a year later. All right. Thanks, AJ. See, that's why I keep you guys. Supposedly a year. There we go. Yep, I didn't even notice the year until you said something. I was like, wait a minute, was the year different? Yeah, it was. So Frederick's like, huh? Frederick, what is a fan service? Heck if I know. After Franz's research ended in failure, yes, he failed, Elise became unemployed. When I heard that she was thinking of going back to work in the factory, I offered her a job in my house as a maid. After some consideration, she accepted my offer. Okay, so the research failed. on finding the compassion magic to heal broken items or whatever. I guess they gave up on that. So Lord Frederick offered her, she decided she's going to go back to work at the factory. Lord Frederick offered her a job in his house as a maid, and she accepted his offer. So ever since then, Frederick, is something wrong? Your face is red. Oh my. We've been living together. What? Wow. Hey Cammy, how you doing? It's been a few weeks, but I stopped by. How are you? Taylor, haven't been here in a while either. Damn. I still feel like this is like the end. I feel like this is the end of the story. It kind of seems like this is the end of everything, because it's resolving everything. It's resolving what happened to Libertad. The big bad guy was executed. That's already happened. And now we're a year later, and it's talking about how Elise is now living with Lord Frederick. Kind of surprised. Well, I mean, of course she stays with the other maids in the maids' living quarters, but still. And look how she's dressed for Lord Frederick there. Frederick? No, nothing. I'm fine. Why are you here anyway? Isn't today supposed to be your day off? Oh, I came to play the piano. After hearing Elisa's piano, my father granted her special permission to play the piano anytime she wanted. I think the piano is also one of the reasons she agreed to work as a maid here. Besides, your sorcerer match is tonight, right? Oh damn! Is he end up gonna have? Remember how I predicted in part 5, I think, that Frederick and Franz would end up having a sorcerer match? Are they gonna end up? Is he end up gonna go to a sorcerer match and have that match that I predicted a while back against Franz? Ooh. AJ says, I feel like Franz could have made a breakthrough. Oh, well then. Yeah, exactly, right, AJ? Yes, I have a sorcerer match. Well, you said I could watch your match if I was free, and I am free, so... Are you going to watch? Yeah, I'll be cheering for you. Wow! It looks like Elise has a lot different feelings towards Lord Frederick than she used to, so good for Lord Frederick. Maybe he grew up a little bit, huh? Really? Well, thank you, Elise. I'll definitely win tonight's match. I know you will. Elise's smile is beautiful, as always. She was sad after she and Franz failed to fix the broken piano at the factory, but nowadays, she seems more cheerful. Remember, guys, that Lord Frederick said, you know, when he was writing all that, when he was copying all that song and the notes and spent all night copying the notes and everything like that, he kept saying how he did that for one reason. He wanted to see Elise smile. And look at that. Here's Lord Frederick. They're in a room alone together, it looks like. And look at that. She is smiling. So, cool stuff. I feel like Frederick's eyes aren't meeting Elise's eyes. Oh my god, AJ. To be honest, I'm just happy that after a year, she seems to have forgiven me for the incident that occurred in this very room. Now we've become friends who are close enough to go together to my sorcerer Wait a minute. Huh? You're not gonna go to the stadium dressed like that, are you? Huh, what's wrong with this dress? I can think of a few things that might be wrong with that dress. Elise cocks her head while smiling innocently. I don't think you should wear that. No? Well, what about a nurse outfit? Oh my god. That's even worse, Elise. Wearing a nurse outfit with a body like that? Yeah. That would be even worse, I think. Is Frederick here getting jealous of the attention she might get at a sorcerer match dressed like that? Probably. No! Yep, definitely. That's funny. How about a sailor uniform? You know what? I think Elise is teasing him. What do you guys think? I think Elise is teasing him for sure. No! Not a sailor outfit either. How about a cheerleader uniform? No. Frederick, you're so hard to please. That's too funny. That's it, guys. That is it. Wow, I wasn't expecting the game to be over that quickly, especially when we saw 42% of the game was complete yesterday. At the end of last night, boy, if I would have known it was going to be over in another 15 minutes of reading, I definitely would have finished it last night. A short live stream Under the Moonshine tonight. And I guess the other 58% of the novel that's been unlocked is probably based on making different choices. Yeah, last night it was only 42%, I think. I kind of was hoping that Lord Frederick and Franz would have... Let's do something, guys. Because this was so short, let's go in and change the end? Question mark? Question mark? Interesting. That's it, guys. What a bummer, dude. No, we're going to go in. What we're going to do is we're going to go back and load this, and we're going to fight Frederick. We're going to have Franz fight Frederick. It's probably one of the bigger decisions in the whole story. So we're going to play that route. And, I mean, we got plenty of time, so we're going to see what happens if we do that. A lot of people might feel like, you know what, Franz should fight the son of a bitch. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll load this and see what happens. Yeah, I certainly wasn't expecting it to be over that quickly. Guys, I was just saying, I thought this was going to be a 25-hour playthrough. Based on the percentage of the novel we read through. I thought that was like how far we had gotten through, even with the choices. I didn't think that it was like the percentage that you know, the total percentage based on all the choices or whatever. I thought that was for the percentage we was through to the end. So I totally misunderstood those percentages. So here we're going to fight Frederick and see what happens if he fights Frederick in this moment. Probably be another quick ending, but at least we're going to find out what happens. There are really no other choices. I'll try not to injure him. There's nothing to worry about. I believe in my magic. As long as I have my magic, everything will be fine. Fine. And Elise is like, Franz! It's okay, Elise. We're just going to spar. Nothing serious. Ha ha ha. Very good, Franz. Very good. Let's see which one of us is stronger. Franz! Franz, don't overdo it, okay? Aretha says. Of course not. Frederick's like, ready, Franz? Yeah, let's get this over with. We observe each other's stance, trying to read each other's movement. We stand a good distance apart. Neither one of us moves a muscle. Frederick starts gathering mana, his willpower growing stronger. I also start gathering mana, believing in my faith. Frederick says, summon! And he's going to summon the rocks. I look up and dozens of rocks appear above me like droplets of water, but much bigger and much heavier. This is the same attack that took out Hendrix. As they begin to fall, I move speedily backwards while swinging my right arm horizontally across my body. I summon a blast of wind to reflect the rocks back to their own summoner. Deflection, but Frederick doesn't move from his spot. Ha, too slow. Hendrix was faster than you. He puts out a hand and courageously awaits the incoming projectiles. Uh-oh. The rocks burn into fire and turn into ashes before reaching their target, which their target at this point was right back at Frederick, who is already exercising willpower to prepare his next spell. As soon as Frederick unleashes his magic, the earth trembles viciously. Arg! I lose my balance and almost fall, but I take a leap of faith and cast a spell. Transform Faith. The air carries me upward and I'm levitating above the influence of the quake. Now that I'm safe from Frederick's quake, I intelligently aim my left hand at him while my right hand is still faithfully keeping my body afloat. I blast water at Frederick with my free hand, but my opponent isn't just standing still. He shields himself with a wall of rock. The earth calms down when he summons the rock wall. I disengage my wind spell and descend back to the ground. Not bad, Franz. Not bad. Same to you. Yes, Frederick is really good at this. I guess the sorcery has helped him become a great magician. I have to start using stronger magic if I want to win. The ever faster flow of mana in my body solidifies my faith in this next magic spell. I open my hand. Summon. And then I close it into a fist. Amplify. A huge tornado swirls to life between me and Frederick, and then it races at him. Wolf's was bigger. Wolf's what was bigger? Oh my god, Frederick, how would you know? Oh, you're talking about tornadoes. Never mind. Never mind. I was being perverted there. Nullify. So he's just gonna nullify it. The gravity around Frederick suddenly vanishes and he jumps high into the air. Soon, he's above the tornado. And from above, he points straight at me with willpower and courage. A flash of lightning blinds me. I know what's coming. So I forgo my tornado and quickly pull up a barrier. This Axuperv. The thunderbolt strikes, shatters my barrier, and rattles me with electricity. Oh shit. I managed to keep standing, but the lightning has left my whole body just stinging. The thunder hurt, but it wasn't deadly. Is Frederick really going easy on me? That seems impossible given his mood. The gravity under Frederick returns to pull him back down to the earth. He lands on his feet, rolls forward, and without delay breaks into a courageous dash. He closes the distance between us fast. I try to focus some magic, but Frederick was too quick. He's already just 3 quick strides away from me. He straightens both of his arms forward and summons courage. Then he opens his arms as wide as possible. Oh shit. A dense ball of fire explodes right in front of my chest. I'm blown high up and through the air. As I'm tumbling, I catch a glimpse of Frederick standing on the ground, grinning triumphantly. Indeed, after taking that hit, I don't think I'll be able to get close enough to deliver another effective attack. The victory is his. No, there is still something I can do. As Elise said to Jisung, magic is hope. The ability to use magic is the ability to dream up anything. As long as I have magic, I can hope to win. All I have to do is put all my faith into this. While I'm still in the air, I cast my magic spell. The wind blows, but not towards my opponent. It blows from behind me and launches me like an arrow at Frederick. I'm riding the wind. Ride the wind, never coming back again. That's a Poison song, by the way. Yeah, I know my singing sucks. Sorry, guys. What the hell? Alright, so Frederick is like, what the hell? And Franz is riding the wind. We're headed straight at him. He isn't expecting this and therefore fails to react in time. Whack! Gah! My body collides with him hard, knocking him down. Quickly standing back up, I amplify my wind strength into another tornado. And Frederick gets caught right in the tornado and thrown up into the air. Disoriented, Frederick can't control his fall and soon crashes onto the street. Oomph! Yep. He forces himself to his knees, but I'm up to him before he can stand. I aim my hands back, point blank, right at his face. And Frederick's like, huff, 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 huff. Both of them we're both out of breath. I've won. Give up. In the end, I managed to claim victory without any of us suffering any serious injury. This right here is the best possible outcome. Frederick is shaking in anger. Have you had enough? The fury in his eyes is like fire. There's nothing you can do now. Cede the match to me. And Frederick's like, no. Uh-oh. What? What? And that's exactly what this is. What? Holy shit. I was not expecting that. I was expecting the whole thing to be over. Oh my god, hang on guys. Let me turn my phone down here. Wow. Did he just freaking cut off his hands? He pulled that. Remember, guys, yesterday he had found a cleaver on the ground and he had tucked it away. Remember that? I remember that now. It said when we were going from the point of view of Frederick, remember he had found a cleaver by the brothel somewhere? He had found an old cleaver laying on the ground or something like that. And remember it said he tucked it away. AJ's like, that cheap son of a bitch. I know, right? I mean, they're playing magic spells, throwing tornadoes and wind and shit at each other, but this is cheap. This is really cheap. This is like cheaper than freaking Noed and Insidious in the basement, right? What? What happened? Did he really freaking cut off Franz's hands? Holy shit, guys. A pair of hands fly in front of me. They've been severed at the wrists. They're splattering blood everywhere. Frederick's right arm is raised. There's a cleaver in his hand. Yep, it's a cleaver he picked up yesterday. Why is he holding a cleaver? Everybody knows classic weapons are useless in a magic battle. I'm going to have to finish him off after all. He's unbelievably stubborn. I gather my mana and focus my intelligence. Summon. Nothing happened. What? I can feel mana inside me. Jets of water should be shooting out of my hands, but my hands... An intense pain rushes through me all at once from where my magic should be emanating from. Franz is like, my hands. This can't be real. My hands, they're gone. My magic, gone. I'm no longer a magician. I'm no longer even human. No. Wow, what is going on, guys? The hands hit to the ground, seeping blood. They make a small sound. Too small. I stagger back, hardly comprehending the situation. I'm confused as a reader. Elise and Aretha run to me. Their mouths are moving, but I can't hear anything. Elise, I'm sorry, I can't help you fix that piano. I can't even be a mage anymore. I'm sorry to you too, Aretha. I can't drive you around in a carriage. I turn away from them, and then I run. He runs from the fight. I run past the police and the libertines. I run through the streets. I run. And I run. And I keep running. And I run until I don't know where I am. I run and I don't even know where I'm going. But I keep running. And running. Wow. Running through the streets with my woes. How you doing? Me like squid? How you doing, dude? Oh my god. Until I realize I'm not running anymore. I'm dying. He's freaking bleeding to death. Frederick freaking cut off his hands. Holy shit. He's gonna die. It hurts. Pain. Magic. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Is it going mad now? What the hell is going on? So much for being top student. No magic. What a joke. Who is this? Is this that the lady from Magical Mechanical? Judy? Judy, I think is her name. What? I am so confused. It's over. That's it. Is it? What? Okay, should I click it again? I don't want to miss something. I think we're just going to wait. Yep, my fingers move on the piano slowly. Now he has fingers? Or are we taking the point of view of Elise or somebody? My fingers move on the piano slowly, gently, lightly resting their weight on the piano keys for but a beat before moving again. This has got to be Elise. We got to be taking the place of Elise now. They beckon the piano to sing, and the piano sings. But my fingers are too moved by the piano's music. I used to think that this piece was blissful and calming, yet today a tinge of sorrow hidden in the sonata surfaces. It surfaces with the music. The music reaches her hand out to me. I take her hand and I walk with her through an invisible land in a melancholic white world. Sometimes the faceless music smiles and I smile back. Other times she frowns and I follow suit. Of course, in one sense, none of this actually is happening. But in another sense, if I couldn't count on this experience, I couldn't play the piano. It can't be real, but it is real. In my heart, I feel that this is true magic, truer than the daily spellcasting that anyone with a bit of mana in their bloodstream can conjure up. Yep, we're definitely Elise now. Woman says, "The last patrons have left, so I shall close up for the night. You may stop playing now." A kind, motherly voice brings me back to the real world. I see a woman with a gentle smile speaking to me. My sonata is still flowing through the room of the cafe with a slow but pleasant melody, as lustrous as the place itself. "Allow me to finish the piece, Miss Howard. It won't take me long to finish." And just as she said, there are no more guests in the cafe. Waiters and waitresses are clearing dishes off the tables. A maid is sweeping the floor. From the kitchen, I can hear the sound of running water. The middle-aged noblewoman nods, the smile never leaving her lips. Miss Howard, "Of course, Elise, play as long as you wish. I took you on because of your endless passion for this instrument. I know quite well that you love to play for love and not for money." "Thank you, Miss Howard." "Oh, don't forget that we're holding the salon tomorrow." Mr. and Miss Howard's cafe is very popular among the Overturian aristocracy and bourgeois, not only because it is gorgeous and serves delicious food, but also because Miss Howard regularly holds gatherings in which the intelligentsia discuss and debate a variety of topics from politics to magical science and engineering. The latter is why, despite being situated in an aristocratic housing complex, patrons aren't limited to aristocrats. Conservatoire graduates particularly love these salons. "I won't forget, ma'am." After giving another friendly nod to the hostess turns and walks to the drink bar. And I continue my journey with the sonata. Oh, so now we're moving like 5 years ahead of time. We're moving to the 12th month. The 10th day of the 12th month, due December, 5 years later. My pocket chronometer shows a little past midnight when we finished cleaning the cafe. "Thank you for your help, Elise." "It was my pleasure, Miss Howard." "If you'll excuse me, I shall take my leave." "Of course, do be careful out there. There's proletariat are about this time of night. Lately, I've heard terrible things. It seems they'll go after anyone they can find." "I'll be careful. Goodbye, Miss Howard." "Take care, Elise." I leave the cafe after bidding my farewell. and the street is completely empty under the starlit night sky where police carriages are roaming to and fro. Because they're on the rich side of town, so police are obviously guarding the streets. A carriage flies by me, low and slow. The policeman riding inside gestures me a playful salute, to which I reply a cheery hand wave. Satisfied, the policeman pilots his carriage forward to resume his patrol. It wasn't always like this, but a year ago, some proles started assaulting people in the city. It seems like it's been getting more frequent ever since. How do they get mana potions for something like this? From the cafe, fortunately, I only have to walk 100 steps before reaching the intersection that connects the complex housing to the cafe to a main street. From there, it's only a few more paces to the omnibus stop. As dangerous as the city has become, nobody but aristocrats would dine at the cafe if it weren't for an omnibus stop nearby. I have to be careful myself. Night rider buses are few and far between, so I make sure to leave the cafe 15 minutes before the bus arrives. It should arrive in, I glance at my chronometer, 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, I board the omnibus, and I breathe a small sigh of relief. Remember, we are in the point of view of Elise, guys. Man, Frederick is really a garbage person. I know, right, AJ? There are a few others on the bus, their energy sapped after a long day of work. Since the buses become infrequent after midnight, they take longer routes and make frequent stops through a number of faraway districts, unlike the daytime omnibuses that fly more directly between two terminals. There was a time when I loved detours like this. I arrive almost an hour later, thankfully only a short distance away from home. And Aretha is at her home, huh? Elise? Aretha is still yawning and rubbing her eyes in front of the kitchen when she murmurs my name. Aretha, have you not gone to bed yet? Work, deadline, sleepy, need coffee. She answers with half-closed eyes. If you would not mind waiting a minute, I could brew a cup of coffee for you. Elise. Yes, Aretha. Elise. Yes. Elise. Yeah? Ha 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 ha. I know you've been working at Howard's for 2 years now, but that high-class lady talk doesn't suit you at all. There's that laugh again. Ha ha ha, that's my Elise. Humph, I'm going to bed. Night-night. Huh? What about my coffee? Weren't you gonna make it yourself? But I prefer my coffee to be made with your love. What kind of taste is that? Oh, Elise, you know what? Instead of coffee, would you play the piano for me? Aretha, it's past midnight. Your mother is sleeping, and our neighbors and everyone. Yes, we now have a piano at home. It's not that my job at the cafe has made me rich, but after a year after I started working, I had saved enough to purchase a second-hand piano from one of Alanis's acquaintances. Before buying the piano, I always had to go to the cafe early and ask Miss Howard to let me practice. Now I can practice at home. Alright, piano is no good. Maybe you could energize me with your magic. Lisa's like, that'd keep you up until morning, and then you'd make me stay up with you. Elise, I got it. Let's stay up till morning. No, I'm sleepy. For some reason, Aretha is sitting at my desk, her eyes glued to a stack of drawings of magic system diagrams, and on the desk is a steaming cup of coffee, apparently the flavor of my love. I sit on my bed sipping coffee from my own cup. A dash of sugar has made it bittersweet. And Aretha's like, then the fire flows here, and I need a way to block the water from the second input. I don't dislike Aretha being in my room so late. I don't see her much except on the weekends, except when we both started working full time. Aretha is already gone by the time I wake up every morning, When she comes home, I'm gone to the cafe, and when I come home, she's asleep. Aretha, are you still working on the calculator? Aretha turns to me, her face lights up. No, that was done a long time ago. I had a working proof of concept for my capstone, and my first prototype was successfully built the year after that. She explains all this with a bright expression. Can I see the prototype? Well, the thing is, the calculator is as big as an omnibus, so it's a little hard to move from magical mechanical, ha 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 ha. After graduating from the Conservatoire d'Ouverture more than 4 years ago, Aretha went on to work as a magical engineer in Magical Mechanical Research and Development Center. When she was still working on her final year project in the Conservatoire, nobody had paid any attention to her research, but the day after she presented it to the examiners, it made headlines everywhere. She had built a proof of concept from a magic machine that could perform simple arithmetic calculation. Think 3 plus 4 or 5 plus 6. As long as both numbers were less than 16, the machine could produce the sum of two numbers. Lord Godwin came to our house the day the news was published in the Overture Science Journal. Then what are you working on now? A magical analytical engine. Aretha watches me take a sip from my cup with enthusiasm gleaming on her face. And what is an analytical engine? Hehe, it's going to be really cool, Elise. So, what is an analytical engine? It's like the calculator, but can be used for general purpose computation. You can customize what it calculates and give it instructions that will be executed according to a defined logic. Sounds complicated. Ha 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 ha. There's Aretha laughing again. Elise, are you interested in knowing how magic machines can process mathematical logic? Sure. You really want to know? I was just joking, Elise. You don't really need to understand this stuff. I can try explaining it to you best I can, but it's really technical stuff. Are you sure you want to know the technical details? It's after midnight, so nah. I understand. Don't worry. It's really not important to know how it works. So, you're working on a computing machine that is even more complex than the calculator, huh? Your analytical engine sounds really impressive. It's not just my analytical engine. I mean, I am the lead researcher, but I have a team of scientists and engineers working on different parts of the machine. Whoa, you have your own team. Yeah, I've been working in magical mechanical for almost 5 years, remember? Besides, the analytical engine is the continuation of the research I did in Conservatoire. 5 years, yeah, that's right, isn't it? What's funny? What's so funny? 5 years ago, I was also a magical mechanical employee, so technically, I'm your senior. You're right. No, that is so not right. I was just a lowly factory worker whose work was to case fire all day. It was totally different from your job. I mostly just stare at magic system diagrams all day every day, so maybe it really isn't that much different. 5 years, huh? Wow, time flies. So that means it's been 5 years since the incident. It was so kind of Alanis and Aretha to let me continue living with them, even though I had lost my job as Franz's research assistant. Sometimes I would help out in Alanis' clinic, but other than that, I was unemployed until I got hired by Miss Howard a couple of years ago. Aretha? Huh? You said the calculator is as big as an omnibus, right? How big would the analytical engine be? That's a good question. Aretha rolls her eyes up and scratches her head. About as big as our house, I think. Maybe bigger. That's huge. Ha. Yeah, it's not something you'll find in any household. Only governments or big institutions will be able to own an analytical engine. I think there is a world market for maybe 4 or 5 analytical engines. Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping we'd have one in our house. No way. Besides, by the estimate, the analytical engine is still more than 10 years away from completion. 10 years? It's amazing that Magical Mechanical is willing to invest in something like that. Yep, Lord Godwin is extremely excited about his research. He is going to unveil a very early, doesn't really work yet model of the analytical engine next Fire Day, in the Conservatoire d'Ouverture, and I'll be presenting. I'm going to say in front of the audience, Magical Mechanical's latest invention is magical, mechanical, analytical. How cool is that? Next Fire Day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now. No wonder you're still working even though it's already 3 in the morning. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha, yeah, I don't normally work until, 3? Isn't it still 2 o'clock? Oh my gosh, you're right. I gotta work. Oh wow. Aretha is already gone when I wake up in the morning 2 hours before noon, according to the chronometer. I sit on the bed, still feeling sluggish from staying up so late. Or was it early? By the time Aretha and I stopped chatting, I was already tired, but the coffee was keeping me awake. I think it was 4 o'clock when I finally fell asleep. I remember that Aretha was still working when, by means, she couldn't have had more than 4 hours sleep, considering that she was always leaves for work at 8. Her determination is amazing. As for me, I don't have anything to do until evening because the cafe doesn't open until sundown. I'm sleepy. Not even the warm sunlight and the light breeze outside the window are enough to make me want to get out of bed and go outside. It's now the transition from winter to spring, when the weather just can't seem to make up its mind whether to be hot or cold. Compared to that, my bed is 100 times more tempting. That's it. I'm going back to sleep. I let my back fall in the cozy bed and I closed my eyes, seeking solace under the warm blanket. Bad, Elise. Bad. I forced myself to jump out of bed and drag my feet to the door while stifling a yawn. Lannis is there. Good morning, Elise. Good yawn. Good morning, Lannis. You're exactly like Aretha was this morning. Ha ha ha. Has she left? Yeah, she did completely, she didn't seem completely awake when she went to work, nonetheless. Aretha's willpower is strong. Behind Alanis, some patients are already waiting in the waiting room for their examination. This house is also used as a psychiatry clinic where Alanis takes patients. She has a license to diagnose and treat patients, but she spends most of her time talking with people who come in. Just talking seems to help out most people. From time to time, I still help out in the clinic by curing patients who happen to have an illness or energizing those who are physically drained from overworking. Have you started these psychiatry sessions? No, but I will in a minute. I have just finished making preparations. I'll help you out. Give me just a second to energize myself. Alana smiles kindly and shakes her head. No, don't worry about it. Why don't you just take a walk outside and breathe some fresh air? Remember, Elise, your real strength lies in your own mind. Don't always rely on your magic. Alanis chuckles softly. Okay, I'll give it a try, And with a smile, she turns away and walks to her patients. She greets them, opens the door to her examination room, and leads an older woman inside. Once Alanis has disappeared into her examination room, I take a quick shower, have brunch, and head outside for a walk. The air outside is a little chilly, but not unpleasant. At this hour, there aren't many people because almost everyone is at work, and children are all at school. Now, Alanis told me to take a walk, but where should I go? I don't like wandering around without any real destination. Maybe I should try the omnibus. Heading to the omnibus stop, I walk past an old couple sitting on a bench. I smile at them, and they smile back at me. And at the omnibus stop, a young woman and her toddler boy are chatting merrily while waiting for the bus to arrive. I talk and laugh with them until a minute later, a bus arrives. When was it? 2 years? 3 years ago? That moving your body inside an omnibus stopped feeling like you were suddenly losing half your body weight? An omnibus interior used to be a low-gravity environment because the gravity was partially nullified in order to make it easier to carry the omnibus using levitation magic. Nowadays, the omnibus is equipped with a second magic machine that cancels out the nullification of gravity inside without affecting the gravity outside, so the bus is still light for the driver who steers it, but it doesn't feel jarring for passengers. Along with the other small improvements, the omnibus of today is undoubtedly better than the omnibus of 5 years ago. And it's not just omnibuses that have seen improvements lately. Our room heater at home can automatically warm the air to a perfect temperature. The coffee machine can brew a cup of coffee in under a minute. Chronometers can now last a week instead of a single mana charge. Magic machine technology has progressed so far and so fast in only 5 years. There are now more magic machines in the city. They're more advanced. They're more useful and helpful. They make the lives of people in Overture easier. The mother and the little boy stand up from their seats when the bus stops in front of the bookstore. The boy waves at me, and he gets off the bus. I still have no idea where the omnibus is taking me. Looking outside, I realize that I'm already quite far away from the main city area. At the next stop, I get off the bus. The street is familiar. I haven't been here in a long time, and many things have changed since the last time I was here, but I still remember this street. This is close to the factory where I used to work. The factory. I wonder if it's changed. I wonder if my friends still work there. Before I know it, I'm already making a left turn onto the factory road. Standing outside a factory building, I peek inside through an open window. A young girl stands in front of a big furnace. Toilsomely, she casts fire to set a furnace ablaze. Her sweat evaporates in the heat. Around her, other workers are freezing the molten metal, streaming down the molds in front of them. A worker casts wind to rotate a gear in a mechanical system. People move chassis parts from the conveyor belt to another conveyor belt. They talk little, their mind focused on casting their own magic spells. In contrast to the chilly air outside, the air inside the factory building is suffocating. A supervisor walks around the assembly line. When the girl in front of the furnace stops casting her fire, he yells at her, prompting her to cast a spell again. And so the scene repeats, and repeats again. A fire bursts. Liquid turns into solid. A gust of wind blows. Gears turn. Conveyor belts move. A chassis is assembled. And then the scene repeats. Again and again. The workers have this blank look on their faces. The girl in front of the furnace keeps shooting fire from her hands, but there is no fire in her eyes. The workers who freeze chassis parts wear expressions as cold as the now solid metal on the molds. The factory is still exactly the same as it was 5 years ago, and not a thing has changed. In the city, people's lives are made easier by magic machines, but here, still, almost every job is done by casting magic spells manually. It's also still done by the same underpaid and overworked proles. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's the magical mechanical in which Aretha works, really the same magical mechanical that I'm seeing right now. There are some faces that I recognize among the workers, but I decide not to approach them. I don't know what I would even say to them. Judy, however, Judy isn't here. I leave the factory and, by the force of habit, walk in the direction of the prole streets, which I used to take whenever I went home from the factory 5 years ago. Unlike 5 years ago, however, my presence isn't met with warm smiles and kind greetings. The proles now have this scornful look on their faces. They look at me like I'm a stranger, and to lots of them, I guess I am. I am no longer one of them. I recognize some of these proles, and I know they recognize me too. There's a moment when a surprised look crosses their faces when they see me. But when we don't say anything, when we don't say anything, they ignore me, and I choose not to interact with them. Hey, Brookie Bear, how you doing? Welcome. AJ, sorry, I was invested in this masterpiece of a story. All right, good night, Brookie Bear. Sleep well. I feel indescribably sad about all this. I feel like I've lost a part of myself. Something that makes me is no longer there. Something that makes me is no longer there. Oh wow. Who am I? Elise was a factory worker who lived among the proles. But now I'm in a factory and I don't feel like I belong. Why? What is left of me? Am I even still me? I quicken my pace, trying to escape the dread of being in a place that does not want me here. Escape? 5 years ago, those people were the closest thing I had to family. Now we're just strangers. But what's with their gazes? There was hostility there, and envy. There was hate in their eyes. Has it always been like this? Have those eyes always been the ones with which the proletariat looked at the bourgeois? Or the bourgeois? I don't think so. Something is wrong. Not far from the main city street, 2 proletariat men in messy clothes are standing on the side of a dusty street, leaning against the wall from a rundown shack. As I walk down the street, I overhear the men talking to each other. Hey, did you see him? Who? Him. Ah, Amadeus? Yes, I don't think I'd be able to see the leader himself, but he was there. With his leadership, I'm sure we'll win. The kingdom will be ours, and the bourgeois will cease to exist. Oh wow. Amadeus and Libertad are what we needed this whole time. Libertad? Wasn't that group dissolved 5 years ago? I tell you what, if Amadeus needs me, I'm ready to lay down my life for him and for Libertad. We're all ready. Amadeus and the Libertans have been fighting for us for so long. It's our duty to do whatever we can to support them. I can't make out anymore, so Libertad is back, and apparently with a new leader. They call him Amadeus. I've never heard of him before, but he sounds like bad news for the bourgeois. When I'm back on the city street, the sun is already glaring low in the west. Just the right time to go to the cafe. Today is salon day, so I can't come late. I walk to the nearest omnibus stop, and I take the first bus. Hey, Rebecca Fair, how you doing? Welcome. Looks like another bedtime story. Yep, been reading this one at night for the past week. We're almost done, though, I think. I arrive at my stop just as the sun is swallowed up by the horizon. As soon as I get off the omnibus, I walk down the street towards the aristocrat housing complex where the cafe is located. My steps are quick, but not hurried. I should be able to reach the cafe in about 10 minutes. It's strange, though. The street is empty. Usually there are lots of people at this hour coming home from work. I'm about to turn left onto the street that leads to the aristocrat complex, but then I stop. Across the street, a middle-aged man is hunched near a wall. There are patches of blood soaking through his suit. Oh shit. I run to the man and squat down beside him. Are you okay? What happened? The man grunts in agony. I reach out my hand to him. Transform, compassion. For a second, his body glows white, and then the light disappears along with his wounds. Huff, huff. Thank you, miss. What happened to you? The proles, they suddenly attacked and robbed me. The proles robbed you? Yes, but they didn't look like they were average proles. They were like a group of criminals. There were 5 or 6 of them, and one seemed to be their leader. Where did they go? The man points a shaking finger at the street opposite the aristocrat complex. That way. I quickly get up and begin to walk. "Miss, it's dangerous. Don't go by yourself." I leave the man and head to where he pointed. I fully realize the danger, but I can't just leave this alone because there may be more people who need healing. Besides, I'm curious about the proles who did this. They sound like Libertad. As I run, I hear the sound of magic. Fire, water, wind, and earth magic is being cast not far from me. There are men screaming and shouting. I soon see a group of men fighting the police. As the man has told me, there are 5 or 6 proles. A similar number of policemen are set against them. Oh shit. It looks like the policemen are having a hard time defending against the proles who are barraging them with a series of magic spells. Wow. Look at the policemen down on the ground. I don't see any proles down on the ground, but there's already, what, 3, 4 policemen down? These proles are definitely Libertad. Why does Libertad still exist? Since when does Libertad engage in a fight with the police in the middle of the street? When did they become so freaking strong? And then I notice a man standing a safe distance away, watching the battle. This man is also Libertad, but he's somehow different. The cloak he wears has a hood that covers most of his face. Is this leader of Libertad? Could this be Frederick? Even as the other Libertans are fighting strenuously, the man looks calm. His face is expressionless, without any signs of panic or worry. Yet even though his body doesn't move, I can see that his eyes are full of determination. This man is deeply engaged in the battle, watching its every move intently. But again, he's not quite it. He's not watching intently exactly. He's like a supreme being who is watching life unfold according to his grand design. He's anticipating what he's watching as the battle unfolds. Meanwhile, the Libertans and the policemen continue to exchange magic attacks. A few seconds later, the man raises his right hand, slowly until it's as high as his shoulder, his arm straight. The Libertad members stop attacking, take a defensive position, and watch the hooded man's right hand. Is he going to cast a spell? No. Instead of casting a spell, he makes a quick gesture with his hand. The Libertans all nod at each other and swiftly move around the police. They're switching formation. Before the cops can respond in turn, the Libertans resume their attack. They cast one magic spell after another. Wow. When one of them has finished shooting a fireball, he quickly leaps to his side and moves away without waiting for the fireball to hit or miss its target. Another man immediately takes his place and unleashes the next attack. Summon courage plus willpower. A policeman summons a flash of lightning at the man who shot the fireball, but instead of dodging, the man stays in formation, summoning a barrier around his body and letting the lightning strike him. Transform compassion. A Libertad woman who stays a little further behind casts heal on the man who was struck by lightning. Soon after, she fills her mana with compassion again, even though none of her friends need healing yet. After a while, the Libertans never pause their barrage of attacks, and they never break the formation. Instead of having each man fight an opponent one-on-one, the Libertans move together as a team, taking down each policeman one by one. Individually, a Libertan isn't stronger than a police officer, but as a unit, they easily overpower the police squad. Just a few minutes later, there are no police left standing. The Libertans search the police for mana potions and then quickly leave. Before leaving himself, though, the hooded man looks back. An eye of his meets mine. I just stand firmly without moving an inch, bound whether by wonder or terror. I'm not sure. Should I attack him? No, that's a bad idea. These people easily defeated a team of police officers. I wouldn't even stand a chance. Should I run away? Maybe I should. But the man doesn't do anything. He just keeps staring at me silently, his face devoid of emotion. Finally, he turns away and leaves. I wait until all the libertans have left before reviving the policeman. Wow. The cafe was already full of people when I arrived. Elise! The steps at which Miss Howard walks to me are long and hurried. I apologize for being late, Miss Howard. Never mind that. Were you attacked? No, I'm fine. Oh, thank God. Some people were attacked by the Libertad. I was afraid you might have been caught up in it too. I was, sort of. Oh, don't worry, nothing of the sort happened to me. I am relieved to hear that. I see a lot of people have gathered for the salon. You know, saloon? Saloon is spelled differently, though, right? It's spelled like salon, but I think it means saloon. Yes, they have. And with the incident outside, the discussion is going to be very lively. Would you start playing the piano? We'll start in a few moments. I'd be happy to, Miss Howard. Hey, Karumi, how you doing? Yeah, Fussbot is up. Yeah, you guys are earning coins as long as you're active in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my saloon. It's got to be a saloon. This is not a salon, for sure. I am your salooneer, Anitra Howard. Okay, so this is Miss Howard. I was going to have us discuss about Magical Mechanical's upcoming press conference and Conservatory Overture. As we've heard, Lord Godwin himself will be delivering the keynote address. We still have not been able to confirm what the press conference is about. There have been rumors of a new omnibus model, a commercial version of the calculator, etc. So I was hoping to discuss this. However, not an hour ago there was an incident near this cafe in which some people were attacked by a proletariat gang. Of course, now it will be quite impossible to avoid this hot topic. Soft laughter breaks through the audience. I believe it will make an interesting topic for this evening's discussion, especially because it isn't a secret anymore that this gang is in fact Libertad. Wasn't Libertad obliterated by the police 5 years ago? Yes, it was all over the news. The police raided Libertad hideout at a brothel in the Pearls district. Oh, I know that brothel. Oh, how did you know it? Busted. The police operation was led by Commander Wolf, wasn't it? Woman 2 says, Commander Wolf of the Dragoon? Yes, that Commander Wolf. It wasn't a Dragoon operation, though. I heard the leader of Libertad was captured in the operation. And later executed. What was his name? Fyodor Hendricks. Yes, Fyodor Hendricks. The king ordered his execution a month later. Was his crime that bad? Wasn't being locked in prison enough? That man was dangerous. He tried to bring down the monarchy and take over the country. Calm down, my lord. The man is quite dead. Excuse me. Well, he's dead, surely, but evidently there's someone else who is trying to be the second Fyodor Hendricks. Amadeus? Is that what he's called? Who exactly is that man? Nobody knows. I heard he suddenly appeared about 2 or 3 years ago and revived Libertad. So Libertad was gone. Yes, after Hendricks was captured, Libertad was no more. But then this Amadeus came and suddenly Libertad was back. And they're even worse than before. A team of police was defeated by Libertad just now. I can't believe it. Amadeus must be a very powerful magician. Not only could he bring Libertad back from the dead, he made them into an even stronger organization than they ever were before. Oh shit. Indeed, it's scary to think that a man capable of using that kind of magic is our enemy. How did Libertad become this dangerous? 5 years ago, I had never even heard of Libertad until they had already been captured and sentenced. There was news of citizens getting robbed by thugs near the outskirts of town. I see, so those were the Libertans. I thought they were only ordinary proles. Nowadays, Libertad would attack anyone, anywhere, even in the middle of the city in broad daylight. Oh shit. And it's not just Libertad. Recently, ordinary proles have been getting more aggressive as well. Oh, is that so? I thought they were all Libertad. Man 3 says, this is getting out of hand. I wish the police would do something. What would that something be? I don't know. Policing better would be a good start. Well, I think it's more important to think about what we can do to stay safe. Man 1 says, very good point. What can we do? And the discussion continues for almost 2 hours. Occasionally it turns into a heated debate, but Miss Howard always steers the discussion back on topic and keeps the atmosphere polite. Cool. How you doing, Ryan? Welcome, dude. Karumi, I think I already said hello to you. How you guys doing? Just stopping in before bed. Good night, Ryan. Sleep well, my brother. After the last guest has left, Miss Howard speaks to me. Thank you for playing the piano, Elise. Oh, it was my pleasure, as always, ma'am. It's getting late. You can leave the rest to me and go on home. Thank you, Miss Howard. Should I get a police officer to escort you? It might still be dangerous out there. Oh, there's no need for that. I'll be all right. Very well. Please be careful. I will. See you tomorrow, Miss Howard. See you tomorrow, Elise. I hope she's okay. There are more cops on patrol tonight than yesterday. The atmosphere of the whole city has changed so much, so quickly. I get to my omnibus stop as fast as I can. Libertad. The Libertad I saw earlier this evening were totally different from the group I knew 5 years ago. They didn't cast extraordinary or extremely powerful magic spells against the police, but they won all the same. One was a dedicated healer. The others constantly moved around and targeted the cops one by one, giving them no time to recover. They worked as a team, and the police just couldn't handle it. So they worked much like a machine or like a factory machine or something, all in sync, perfectly in sync. That hooded man didn't cast a single magic spell. He just watched from the sidelines, coordinating the actions of the other Libertans like a conductor in an orchestra. Was this man the leader of Libertad? Was that Amadeus? An omnibus comes not long after I reach the bus stop. I get off the omnibus and head home in the dark and quiet night. As I make my way home, I notice a man's figure from afar, his features concealed by darkness, standing alone in the middle of the otherwise empty street. I stop to look at him. His gaze is just fixed on me. He doesn't move, but he doesn't look away. He doesn't look aggressive exactly, but I still find this presence intimidating. He's beckoning me to him, somehow. He's not moving at all, but I know he wants me to come to him. Is he a Libertan? Is he going to attack me? I carefully make my first step towards the man. He remains motionless. I take another step. The man just stands still. He doesn't even move a finger. I can't see his eyes, but I know that he was still there, just staring at me. This is kind of creepy. No, Elise, don't go die. I hope Elise doesn't die here. I walk forward again. Finally, I'm close enough to see him clearly. Most of his face, however, is hidden by the hood that he wears. Up. Who is that? What? Is that Franz? He regards me with his left eye, for his hood is covering the other. But even with just an eye, his gaze is unnerving. His eye is like an animal's eye. It's not wild or angry or anything like that, but it's inhuman. Like it would put you under a spell if you gazed into it. And I am gazing into it. We're both silent. Hooded man. Are you Amadeus? Hooded man. I guess he just had the same color hair as Franz. Franz is dead. Franz is freaking dead. All right, good night, Rebecca. Have a good night. Thanks for showing up and saying hi, hon. You are, aren't you, Amadeus? He doesn't respond. So where are your underlings? Doesn't respond. Oh, you probably won't need them to attack a girl, right? Huh. What do you want? He doesn't respond. This is getting creepier and creepier. Not much of a talker, huh? Is Libertad's leader shy? Are you not going to do or say anything? He doesn't respond. The man really isn't doing anything. I thought he would secretly gather his magic power and unleash a surprise attack, but as far as I can tell, he isn't doing anything. Could he be really good at hiding his magical aura? But if he wanted to attack me, what is he waiting for? Facing a strong opponent is scary, but one whose intent you can't read might be even more unnerving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is really creepy. But I can't be afraid. I must have courage. Yeah, I hope Elise doesn't die here or something like that. We've already lost in this particular ending, our second ending. The first ending, guys, ended really, really quickly. So if you didn't catch that, make sure you go back and watch this from the start. But this is a second ending that's a lot longer, by the way. I have no idea how long this particular ending is going to branch out. But we've already lost Franz early in this second ending. And this is the second ending where we chose for Franz to go ahead and accept a fight with Frederick. I can't be afraid. I must have courage. Amadeus, you're a criminal. You must turn yourself into the police. My hands are burning hot with mana. At our distance, I doubt even the leader of Libertad could dodge my fire. Summer... Elise. Huh? I drop my intent to attack. The mana I accumulated dissipates harmlessly. Yeah? Elise, come with me. Amadeus turns away and briskly walks. How did you know my name? Hey! Wow. What the heck's going on? Amadeus leads me to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of Overture. The factory is a lot like the magical mechanical factory I used to work at, but the building has been abandoned for years. The equipment is old, rusted, and broken. There is no sound of a blazing fire from the furnace, no shriek of clanging metal, no clattering of mechanical gears. This factory is long dead. Do you know this place? The Libertad leader stands just 10 feet away from me, facing me directly. There is no one but the two of us here, at least no one that I could see. If Amadeus attacks me, I'll have nowhere to escape to. Was coming here the right thing? This is the first magic machine factory in Overture. It was built 30 years ago. The hooded man speaks slowly and softly. There's no hostility, though, in his tone. Why isn't it used anymore? Because the company that owned it went bankrupt more than 20 years ago. Why? Their products are too expensive. At the time, production cost was much higher than it is today. Aren't you going to ask why? Sure, why? Because the minimum wage for factory workers was twice what it is today. What? Even though half his face is hidden behind his hood, I can clearly see the smirk on Amadeus's face. It's a spiteful look. There was a shrewd young entrepreneur who had just started his own magic machine production company. He had a brilliant idea to get ahead of his competitors, despite being a newcomer to the industry. Elise, what do you think he did? I stay silent, just stare into the man's only visible eye. I can't decide whether his gaze now is callous or courteous. Amadeus bends his elbow to gesture his gloved hand up. Something about his movement is unnatural. Before he began hiring in workers, the entrepreneur lobbied Parliament to pass a bill. The minimum wage was to be lowered, and in exchange, employers would be required to provide mana potions to their employees. Considering the high price of mana potions, this was a great idea for many people, and the bill was passed. Of course, the members of the Parliament who passed the bill were aristocrats and bourgeois who didn't know or didn't want to know what the implication would be for factory workers today. Unlike other lines of work, factory work requires a lot of mana. As I'm sure you know, by the end of the work shift, a factory worker has very little mana left in him. For these workers, access to mana potions isn't a privilege, it's a necessity for work. For the factory owners, mana potions are a means of production. This bill gave the young businessman an edge over his competitor. The other companies couldn't just lower the wages of their existing workers, and replacing them with new workers took time, so this new company quickly rose to dominate the market with lower priced products. And then the older companies started to shut down. The young company grew bigger year by the year. Magic machines became ubiquitous in Overture. Demands for traditional magic work decreased. People who were out of work had no choice but to work in a factory, and factory labor became cheaper. Hey Zach, how you doing? Welcome, Zach Mills, welcome. Why did I just get an ad saying this is live streaming? I don't know. Cheaper labor allowed the company to produce more machines at a lower cost. Then it grew even bigger. Thus, the cycle continued. With each cycle, factory workers became poorer and poorer. This is how the proletariat became slaves to capitalism. At least you're just taking it all in. The company's name was Magical Mechanical Ltd. The entrepreneur's name was Geoff Godwin, more commonly known as Lord Godwin. Huh? Why did you bring me to this place? Amadeus raises his right arm at me, but none of his fingers move. If I remember correctly, you followed me here. You told me to follow you. He lowers his arm again with a strangely stiff motion. Huh, don't you see, Elise, the factory workers, the proles, are suffering from injustice. As someone who used to work in a factory like this, surely you understand. Magical Mechanical is an evil company. Lord Godwin is a greed incarnate. He is perpetuating a great evil on this world. It is Libertad's mission to rid Overture of these evils. Overture is sick. We are the cure. The monarchy, the capitalists, we have stripped the majority of our rights and freedoms, or we have been stripped of our majority of rights and freedoms, and we will take them back. We will rebuild Overture from the ground up, make a new government of, by, and for the people. Wow, these guys are almost like terrorists, taking the law into their own hands. There will be no social classes, no aristocracy, no bourgeois, no proletariat. We will make a new society where everyone is equal. A classless society? Yes, join us, Elise. Join us so we can build this new country, so we can give the proles the justice they deserve. Were you not a victim of the crimes committed by Magical Mechanical and the bourgeois? Are you not a proletarian yourself? Am I a proletarian? Am I a proletarian? Or have I become a bourgeois? What am I? I see, you're not even sure yourself. Indeed, you have lived among the bourgeois for years. But surely you remember when the world was set against you, when you were routinely denied the opportunity to better your own life. You were lucky to escape that life. Most don't have such luck. It's time you lent your hand to help your brothers and sisters escape their own undeserved fate. Libertad is ready to help you, help them, and to help all of us. No. No? I said no. What you're doing is wrong. What is wrong about helping these people? You're terrorizing people, not helping them. The bourgeois is not the enemy of the proles, yet you're instigating a war between them. Wrong, Elise. The bourgeois has been knowingly letting the proles suffer for their own profit. They have declared war on the proles. We're only doing what is necessary to save our people. Liberty is only for those who are willing to pay the price. Freedom can't be given. Freedom is something one fights for. A man can only be truly free if he chooses to be free at his own will. So fight we will, whatever the price. No, no. Elise, our society is broken. But there is a way to repair it. You and I can fix it together. Fix it together? Our people are made silent, muted by the injustice they suffer every day. But you, Elise, have the power to make them sing the song of liberty. Amadeus pauses, but instead of waiting for me to speak, he offers his hand to me. Will you join me in liberating the proles from the tyranny of the bourgeois? I stare at Amadeus's open hand. If I take his hand, I will join Libertad. Wow. Join Libertad or not join Libertad? Yeah, I don't think we're going to join Libertad. I think this is bad. What do you think, AJ? AJ is still out there, I'm sure. Yeah, she's not going to join. No. I think she would choose no. Having stared at his hand closely, I finally realized that what has been wrong with his arm movement. His hands don't move at all. The wrists don't bend or rotate. The fingers are extended and stuck together, unmoving. The revolution or not? Those are not real human hands. Did he lose his hands? Is it Franz? Ooh, is this actually Franz? Had his hands been cut off from his arms? Could he be? Are you? Didn't I already say this a long time ago? Because his hair and his eyes looked like Franz. Amadeus says, I wait for your answer. For liberty, at least. I mean, it would make sense because he knew who she was and he knew she worked at the factory. Now we're taking the role of Amadeus. I leave Elise without hearing her answer. I could tell that she was going to say no. I've seen Elise's magical ability. Her affinity with magic is excellent. Not to mention her ability to connect with people. Rallying the proles to our cause would be easier with Elise on our side. She would make an excellent libertine. Oh well, it's a pity, but I can do this without Elise. I'd just love to have her join our ranks if possible. It's as much about saving her as saving the others. It's funny. At nights, the Pearl streets are seemingly more alive than the streets of the city. Some people stand outside their houses huddled together while drinking and talking and laughing. Noticing me walking closer, a man exclaims, "It's Amadeus!" The others turn their heads and their liveliness turns into cheerful excitement. Awakened by the shout of Amadeus, Amadeus, more people come out of their houses, but there's no discontent on their faces. As soon as I halt my steps, the people crowd around me. Amadeus, one of your men came this afternoon and delivered mana potions. Thank you very much, Amadeus. The potions were very helpful. You're welcome, but the libertines are not my men. They're my brethren, as you all are. A warm smile appears on everyone's face. Thanks to the mana potions, we won't have to buy water anymore. We never knew that Eric was able to summon water that's clean enough to drink. The man who just spoke points to a bashful young man next to him who is chuckling silently. Amadeus, look! My roof won't be leaking anymore because my son has repaired it using earth magic. He reinforced my house wall too. I don't have to worry about my house collapsing while I sleep anymore. And our rooms are brighter now thanks to Mary's illumination magic. We can finally say goodbye to the oil lamps, Mantu exclaims. And a teenage girl puffs out her chest and says boastfully, "Leave it to me." I'm glad that you found the mana potions useful. Just as I finish my sentence, I feel someone tugging lightly at my cloak. A jaunty and childish voice calls out, "Amadeus, Amadeus," the little boy says. I turn around to see a little boy about 9 or 10 years old with a grin that stretches from ear to ear. "Amadeus, look at me." The little boy stands with his feet apart and his hands open inches from his thighs. Faithfully, he looks up to the sky. Starlight reflects on his glossy eyes. Transform, Faith. The boy's body floats up into the air, slowly gaining altitude as he raises his arms up, trying to grasp the distant stars with his tiny little hands. Ha ha ha, I'm flying! Still looking up at the sky, the boy levitates higher and higher. His body is almost 20 feet above us at this point. His joyful laughter reminds me of the time when I first cast the levitation spell as a little boy. What man does not dream of soaring through the sky? This boy is now high enough to enter the building next to him through its third-story window, but he just keeps moving skyward. Amadeus, are you watching? The boy looks down at me and suddenly starts to fall. All of his excitement is gone. He stares wide-eyed at the ground with an open mouth. It's so high. Calm down, don't panic. I'm going to fall. I'm gonna fall. The boy's arms and legs are flailing as he desperately tries to push his body towards the building nearest to him, like a swimmer who struggled to reach the shore after his legs suddenly cramped. Luckily, luckily he is able to grip the edge of a window before he stops levitating. Oh boy. Help me, I'm gonna fall. With his magic power completely gone, the boy no longer floats. He is holding on to the window's ledge with all of his strength. Try to calm down, breathe slowly. The boy tries to breathe, but he is anything but calm. Now cast the levitation spell again. I can't. You can, you just did it. I can't, I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it. It's transform on Faith. Come on, you can do it. No. In his panic, the boy has lost all faith in his own magic. He's unable to save himself. If he falls down, he won't walk away from this with just a scratch. In fact, a fall like that could kill him. I asked the people who are watching in horror, can anyone use the levitation spell? Everyone is just silent. A man answers with a trembling voice. I can, but I can't levitate something as heavy as the man's body. What about a little boy's body? Not at that distance. That's true. Most magicians need to be close to their target to levitate an object, unless their magic is very strong. I know someone whose magic is strong enough to do that, but unfortunately he isn't here right now. Can't we open the window from the inside? The owner isn't here at night. The door's locked, a woman says. Of course, it's not a house. What luck. The boy is shaking hands tell me that he won't be able to hold on for very long. Can't you save him? A man says. A man asks me. The others plead with me with hopeful gazes. That's right. I am these people's savior. Only I can save them. Seeing no other choice, I jump against the sturdy drain pipe and grip it with my arms. I can't use my artificial hands for gripping. Remember, he has no hands. I can't use my artificial hands for gripping, so I have to use the crooks of my elbows to hold on to the drain pipe, kicking my feet to push my body up. Oh, well, he's trying to climb this drain pipe with no freaking hands. Do you know how hard that would be? The boy starts to wail loudly, his body trembling. My own body is shuddering as I put my left forearm onto the ledge and push down as hard as I can to pull my body up, careful to not slip. And from below, I hear sounds of people murmuring to each other. I continue to scale the wall, relying on 2 good feet, 2 forearms, and a lot of willpower to carry myself upwards. Ignoring the pain in my arms and shoulders, I drag my body up the wall. I can hear my teeth grinding. I'm now at the 2nd story, halfway there. When my feet find footing on the window ledge, I take a deep breath before jumping up and grabbing the top of the window with my elbow crooks, using the upward force of the jump to make pulling myself up easier. I wish I could have taken 4 or 5 more deep breaths, but the boy is almost out of breath himself. Ignoring the pain and exhaustion, I keep crawling up. Almost there. I can already touch the boy's foot if I extend my arm. Hang on, I'm almost to you. No, I can't hold on anymore. Wait, just a little more. The boy's hands finally give way. Oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh. He is falling from above me. No parts of his body are in contact with any parts of the building. In a flash, I plant my feet against the wall. I let go of whatever my stumps are holding onto, and I kick backwards. He's gonna basically kill himself to save that kid. I managed to catch the boy in midair, but now we're in a free fall. At least the boy is safe because I'm holding him in my arms and shielding his body with my own. This fall may kill me, but he will survive. I guess this is it. The end of Amadeus. Oh well, not that it matters anyway. How many times have I wished for this? I thought my death would be more glorious than this, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I feel as if I were falling in slow motion. Maybe time does slow down the moment just before you die, as life gives you some extra time to lament hopelessly, struggling in vain to escape death, fearing how your consciousness will turn into nothingness. And joke's on you, life. I'm not afraid to die. Wait, something is wrong. I am falling in slow motion. Somebody cast a spell. I feel a gust of wind on my back. It's blowing upwards from below, slowing down my fall. The wind that blows from the ground to the sky can't be natural. Someone is using a wind magic spell. I reorient myself until I am in an upward position, the boy still clutched tightly in my arms. A few seconds later, my feet touch the street. I release the boy and let him stand. It's Elise, I bet. The first thing I do once I right in my posture is look for the person who has just saved me. I don't have to wonder long because I find her right away. Oh no, it's not Elise. It's Judy? Is that Judy? Yep, Judy. This has got to be Franz. Franz is the only one who knows all these people. Judy. The woman stares back at me disapprovingly. I was going to say something to her, but a cry from the little boy interrupts me. Thank you for saving me, Amadeus. I was so scared. I thought I was going to die. Why did you wait until we fell before you used your magic? I didn't use any magic. But she saved us, not me. I make a gesture with my prosthetic hand towards the silent Judy beside me. The boy stares at her with puzzled eyes. You should thank her, son. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. The boy looks at me again. Amadeus, why didn't you use your magic to save me? I gaze deep into the boy's still wet eyes for 2 seconds, and then bring my face closer to his left ear, and I whisper, because I can't use magic. Pulling my face away, I see confusion written all over the boy's face. Listen to me, son. Take very good care of your hands. Don't let anything bad happen to them. Don't ever lose your hands. Protect them. Your hands are your life. Your hands are your identity. They represent your place in society. They're what make you human. It's better to lose your head than to lose your hands. Huh, that's a lot for a boy to take in. The boy doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying, but that's okay. He'll understand someday. I walk away, leaving the dumbfounded boy and the other people who are standing in amazement at what they've just seen. Let's go, Judy. And Judy walks behind me. Judy and I amble along the muddy street in silence, only occasionally speaking to greet some people whirling away the night outside their houses, or whiling away the night. The night is cold. It's already duo-December, but it seems winter isn't going away without a fight. Finally, we arrive at a small house in a small alley. Summon courage. The dark and chill of the night are swept away by Judy's fire. The flickering flames and the sound of crackling wood coming from the hearth comfort me. Warmness spreads throughout the room. What the warmth fails to melt, however, is at Judy's frosty stare. You should try smiling more often. You should try getting yourself killed less often. Her tone is sharp, but I can tell her heart's not in it. Would you rather the boy have died? You know that's not what I meant. What would you have had me do then? I don't know. Judy's wistful stare penetrates the floor. At last the anger melts away from her face, revealing sorrow. Then there's no point worrying about it. She lifts her head again to look straight at me. You could have died. I know. I was prepared to. I'm always prepared. Well, I'm not. I'm not prepared to lose you. The anger and sorrow now blend together, marring her lovely face. I wish I could make this face brighter, but there are more faces out there that need brighting. Are you just going to die after I saved your life? Nope. Not without a purpose. As if a purpose would lessen my grief. I'll be careful, I promise. Do you? It wasn't really a question. Finally, Judy sighs away her ire. Just don't die, okay? I'll try not to. It must be maddening to hear my non-committal answer, but Judy doesn't pursue the matter. I understand her frustration, though. Judy, how many times have you saved me now? I don't know. She lost count a long time ago, just like I did. But I'll never forget the first time she saved my life. When he was bleeding out his hands right after Lord Frederick cut his hands off. Yep. I had awoken in a strange room. My hands were gone. I stared blankly at the bandages wrapped around what was left of my forearms, wet and red with blood. The nasty stench of blood mingled with the smell of cheap disinfectant and the foul air inside the room. The dirty mattress was drenched with my sweat. Its cotton stuffing had long lost its firmness. But none of this bothered me. Not even the pain of my forearms, excruciating and agonizing as it was. None of it bothered me. My eyes were still fixed at the empty air where my hands should have been. A plain-looking woman was beside me, her lips open and closed, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. My hands were freaking gone. Both of them, gone. My life as a magician was over. My future as a mage was over before it had even begun. And then I fainted again. Judy had found me lying unconscious on the street after my hands were cut outside of Maison de Beauvoir. She took me to her house and nursed me until I got better. Losing so much blood had brought me to the edge of death. I could only lie in bed day after day, for weeks and weeks. Even after my arms had made some recovery, I still lacked the energy and the will to get up. The sight of Judy's ceiling was far more soothing than the life that awaited for me outside. Outside was scary. What was a man to do without magic in this day and age? During this time, Judy took care of me like a mother took care of her baby. She changed my bandages, she fed me, she bathed me, she helped me with every little thing that I could no longer do myself. It was shameful. That would be hard. Can you imagine? Could you imagine having no hands? I mean, I've thought about what it would be like to be like blind before and how bad it would be to be blind, but it would be really hard to have neither one of your hands, to not be able to grip things anymore. That would be maddeningly frustrating. And then if you add to that not being able to cast magic spells in this magical world, that would make it even more horrible. Yeah, I mean, if you put yourself in his world, but I mean, even in our world, you know, where you can't grip things or touch things or whatever, that would be tough. I begged her to stop caring for me, to just throw me into the sea, to dump me among the garbage, to leave me in a junkyard to rot. Anything but suffer the humiliation of living the life of a man lower than any man. But Judy continued to care for me. She nursed me back to health until one day I got up. But life wasn't kind to me. There was nothing I could do without magic. I couldn't even work in a factory. There was literally nothing I could do. I had entertained the idea of going back to the city to find my parents, or at least figure out a way to contact them, but I soon gave up on that idea. How could I show myself to my parents like this? A cripple, incapable of, and had no hope of ever being capable of, casting magic ever again. An inability to use magic is no different from a mental handicap. I couldn't burden my parents with my worthless life. It was better that they assumed I was just dead. Man, that's freaking sad. I was completely hopeless. If there is no magic, there is no hope. All I could do was sit on the side of a street and wait for a passerby's pity. But life in the Proles district was hard for everyone. No one had money to give a mimsy man who had nothing to contribute to society. On a good day, begging earned me enough to buy a small loaf of stale bread. In the end, I had to rely on Judy to provide for me. But Judy wasn't a wealthy bourgeois. No matter how hard she worked, factory labor only paid her so much. She had barely enough money to feed herself. We shared what little food we had, enduring hunger on most days. We shared murky water to weather the sizzling summer, and we shared shabby blankets to survive the dead of winter. And so now it was not only I who suffered. This woman who had saved me was made to suffer for my sake as well. Boy, that would make you close. I mean, if you go through something like that, pathetic. That is why Judy, so badly doesn't want to lose him. I mean, you basically have to love somebody to share, and to be willing to do that for somebody as she did. I mean, you have to be close. Because if you didn't care, you didn't love, you didn't learn to love somebody like that, you would put yourself in your own life first. You wouldn't be sharing what little food you already have with somebody else. I mean, that's how people really, it kind of makes sense. I do like how the story is written. And so I do like how he is, struggling with, like, even being alive. He probably wishes he was dead. He thinks he's pathetic. He's too ashamed to even go tell his parents that he's alive. Pathetic. I prayed to the gods to return my magic, but my magic never returned. I prayed to the gods to help me, but no help ever came. I screamed and bellowed and cried to the gods to save me, but they never did. Still, I prayed. Each night before I fell asleep, I prayed to the gods. Please, don't wake me up tomorrow. But they never listened. And as was the case with all my other prayers, the nightly prayer was never answered. He just wanted to die, just like I just said. He wanted to die. He kept praying that he wouldn't wake up. Can you imagine waking up feeling dejected every morning because you're alive? Disappointed that you woke up despite every effort not to? Curses, curses, I'm still alive. That was my every morning, and it still is from time to time. I wished for relief. I wished for an end to my suffering, an end to a dream that would never be, an end to a false hope, and an end to everything. I wanted to die. From time to time, I thought of taking my own life. I imagined dying. I tried to figure out an easy and peaceful way to go out, preferably one that would inflict the least amount of pain. But I never tried, and not trying made me feel even more pitiful. I hated my life. I wanted it to end. I wished for the gods to take it away from me, and I was too much of a coward to do it myself. I'm pathetic. Man, look at her sad face. But each time I saw Judy, I knew that I couldn't kill myself. I owed her too much. She'd been struggling every day just so that I could live. If I threw away my life, I'd be belittling the battle she fought for every day. And I didn't want to disappoint her. Damn. And thus I drudged through misery upon misery, set silent as life spat and shat on me, just so I didn't die. Yet I wasn't living. I was merely existing. Damn. This is depressing as crap, huh? Poor guy. Poor Franz. We know this is Franz now. We know he changed his name to Amadeus. Probably because of his shame. Then one night, I was sitting and begging in a narrow alley, as I always did every day and every night. People ignored me as usual, their faces heavy with the burden of their own lives. Having not earned a single coin, I decided to move to a further street near the city area. Maybe more people would give me money over there. But before I stood up, I spotted something unusual. A nobleman wandering through the Pearls District. His aristocrat jacket glistened even when the street was lit by only by oil lamps. He strutted haughtily through the alley. For a second, I thought he was an aristocrat. I knew a man who had robbed me of my magic, but no, this man wasn't that man. I got up, dragged my feet, and stopped in front of this nobleman with my head hanging low. "My lord," I pleaded in a low voice, "could you spare me some coins?" I didn't know if the man was a lord, but I had come to calling any bourgeois and aristocrat my lord regardless. Sometimes it appealed to their generosity, but apparently not this time. With my head still lowered, I peeked at the man's face. His icy glare was mean and demeaning. Disgust colored his face as he studied my malnourished figure. And then his gaze traveled downward and found my arms. His eyes widened. The glare changed into curious stares. He stared silently for a few seconds before a wicked, derisive smile formed on his lips. Not long after, the smile changed into laughter. A loud, drawn-out laugh that echoed throughout the valley. Satisfied, the aristocrat's face settled into a ridiculing smile. He asked in a conceited voice, "What are you doing in Overture with arms like that?" "If you can't use magic," the man continued, as hate creeped into his condescending tone, "you're just a liability. You're just taking up space. Your existence is wasteful." Damn. And yet you dare ask for money from me? The nobleman burst into a spiteful laughter again. Go in your own money, you scum. Oh, wait, you can't. You're just a piece of garbage without magic. Wow. AJ says, hard to believe that one selfish action from Frederick caused so much suffering for Franz. That's a good observation. That's true, AJ. Yep, one selfish action, slicing his wrists off because he had been defeated. That's true. I mean, that's the only reason Lord Frederick sliced his wrist off was in desperation or grief or anger from basically being defeated in that fight. I mean, Franz at that time said that was cheating. I mean, you don't freaking do something physical like that, magic war. And so he definitely took a cheap shot. I mean, he already knew, if you go back and think about that, Lord Frederick was a scumbag. He obviously knew that taking the hands was the weakest spot on Franz. Much weaker than his heart or his freaking taking his balls off or whatever. In this world, taking a guy's hands was taking everything from him. So Lord Frederick knew that, and he went right for the weakest part, and he cut off his hands. What a pathetic move. Makes me hate that Lord Frederick even more. Anyway, now we're talking to this freaking scumbag nobleman here. Go get your own money, you scum. Oh, wait, you can't. You're a piece of garbage without any magic. I felt small under his verbal abuse. I wanted to talk back, but I couldn't. Not when I knew that everything he said was true. But his words infuriated me. If only I had my hands, this man wouldn't be allowed to talk to me like this. If only I had my hands, this man wouldn't be able to walk home tonight. But then again, if I still had my hands, none of this would have ever even happened. I'm sorry was the only thing I could weakly say before turning and shuffling away. Damn. As I faced away from the man, though, he kicked me hard on the back. I fell forward hard. Dust flew up into my eyes when my cheek bounced off the pavement. God, man, this is depressing as shit. The man punched a foot into my back. He thundered at me. This is your place, you scum. Since you're no better than a cockroach, you should crawl like one. In fact, why don't you cut off those legs too, to match your arms? He pressed down harder, straining to turn. I tried to get a glimpse of the man. He was stepping on my back with his right foot, while his other foot was rooted to the ground to the left of my waist. I placed both stumps of my wrists next to my head and with all my strength pushed myself up. Then, as fast as I could manage, I swung my left leg at his left foot. I swept him off his feet and he crashed to the ground with a loud thud. I could hear by his yell that it was painful. I got up and ran, determined to flee as fast as I could. But no sooner had I begun to run than I sensed his willpower. Oh shit. 2 steps ahead of me, the pavement rumbled and split, uncovering dirty soil from which a solid rock formation shot up at me. Whack! I never expected this attack. The rock hit my chest hard and sent me backwards. The pain was freaking unbearable. I was once again sprawled out on the ground, though this time I lay on my back. You little piece of shit, the enraged man swaggered closer. I was going to let you go, but now I think I shouldn't let you live. You're just garbage anyway. The police wouldn't even bother to have you buried. He reached down and grabbed my shirt collar. I felt his willpower again. It reminded me of another arrogant aristocrat who had fought me with willpower once upon a time. Gravity disappeared. The man swung his hand upward and effortlessly hurled me into the sky. My body only stopped going up after hitting the roof of a 3-story tall building. Damn! I didn't fall down because there was no gravity to pull me back to Earth. The man's shout came from below. Do you like it up there now? Well, by all means, I'll amplify gravity and get you back down here in a hurry. Ha 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 ha. Man, this guy's evil as shit. Even without the gravity amplified, falling from this height would kill a man without fail. Is this it? Are the gods finally going to grant my wish to die today? But suddenly, at that very instant, I didn't want to die. No, not like this. Not in the hands of some arrogant aristocrat prick, especially if the man reminded me so much of that man. We definitely know who he's talking about, that man. But he's talking about freaking Lord Frederick, the guy who cut off his very hands. And this aristocrat prick reminds him so much of Lord Frederick. And it's pitiful that we even call Frederick a lord, isn't it? Seeing the kind of guy he was. I looked around for me anything I could use to keep my imminent death at bay, and then I found something. The end of a hose was hanging off the edge of a nearby rooftop. I hooked onto it with my crippled arm. This would provide me a way to escape to the rooftop, which was the only sensible thing to do. But that's not what I did. I pulled on the hose and found its end. Nothing was attached to it. No water came out of the hose because gravity was nullified, but I could see some water inside. I aimed the hose at the aristocrat. Amplify, the man roared. The man's roaring amplify. Sensing the return of gravity much stronger than it was before it vanished, I squeezed the tip of the hose between my bandaged stumps. And that's funny. So the guy tried to amplify and tried to make Lord Frederick fall back down to the earth, but instead, Franz here used his own magic against him to spray him with the water in the hose. Wow, nice move. The water inside the hose roared to life in the newly amplified gravity. It spurted out the hose in a thin but strong jet of water, shooting straight at the aristocrat. The water jet moved at deadly speed. It covered the distance to the magician faster than my eyes could even follow. And when it struck the man, he recoiled as if stung by a bee, and then he collapsed. The sudden impact instantly stopped his heartbeat. Wow, he killed him. Or he made him kill himself, rather. Actually, Franz didn't kill him. The freaking aristocrat killed himself trying to kill Franz. With his life gone, so too was his magic, and gravity returned to normal. I held on to the hose using the crooks of my elbow as tightly as possible. The short time the gravity was amplified had accelerated my fall, but holding onto the hose stopped me from hitting the ground. After I righted my posture, I could only stand in silence. My mind was blank. I was saved. And I had killed the man. My eyes found the body lying still in the alleyway, and I just stared at it, waiting for him to come. I couldn't look away. I couldn't blink. But he was certainly dead. His mouth was agape. His eyes were open as wide as the gates of hell that he had by now, no doubt, been welcomed into. His arrogance, too, was gone. The aristocratic face, now as hideous as any man's in death, spelled horror. Death. My lips twitched. A frantic sound of breathing escaped my already gaping mouth. Then laughter followed it. A year's worth of laughter. I laughed and laughed. I laughed louder than this very man had done earlier. I had never felt this. What was this feeling? Happy wasn't the right word. Free. I hadn't felt this free, this liberated, in such a long time. My barren laughter continued to fill the night, and I couldn't stop. Every time I looked at the man's frozen face, his shock, his panic, his regret, I was compelled into laughter. The sight of his lifeless body was curiously gratifying. It was majestic. There was glory in his death. My laughter subsided, but still I looked, and what I felt next mystified me. Envy. If death was this glorious, Finally able to move, I limped over to the nobleman's corpse and examined his body. In his pockets, I found mana potions and money. A shit ton of money. There was a time when having this much money was normal to me, but after having the life of a beggar for more than a year, seeing this amount had become unimaginable. The money in his purse, mere pocket change to a man like this, was enough to provide me and Judy for months. My gaze drifted to the mana potions. I stared and stared along at them, my eyes unblinking. Now here was something I hadn't seen in a very long time. Mana potions were useless to me now, but I still found their soft blue tint mysteriously captivating. And then I realized something very important. I just killed the magician. I came out victorious against the magician in a battle, even though I had lost my ability to cast magic spells. Maybe life wasn't as hopeless as I thought. The incident with the aristocrat made me hate the bourgeois and the aristocrats even more. Thinking deeper, I realized I wasn't their only victim. All proles had been oppressed by the bourgeois. Proles might be able to cast spells, but without money to buy mana potions on their own, they were essentially hopeless. They had enough mana for work, but not enough to improve the quality of their lives. The proles were consigned to life as slavery. They were prisoners to capitalism, unable to move freely or happily through society. It was then that I remembered Libertad's mission to bring down the monarchy and the system it supported, to create a new class of society ruled by a new and just government of, by, and for the people. So I made up my mind. I decided that I had to revive Libertad. This was the only solution to the social injustice the proles faced every single day. It was widely known that Fyodor Hendrix, the leader of Libertad, had been executed. However, I had heard no news about Jisong Alisabana, the muscular foreigner, so I assumed that he was still alive. And he was. In the chaos of the Battle of Maison de Beauvoir, Jisong had managed to escape. After months of looking for him all over the city, I was finally able to locate him. I told him about my plan to resurrect Libertad. It took some convincing, but finally he agreed to aid me. We shared, after all, the same vision for Overture. It took us a while to gather some members. Nobody cared to be a martyr for a group that had failed to bring the revolution once before. And in time we began to grow. Judy joined our ranks as well. But there was one last thing we had to do before Libertad could be functional. We had to give the people a symbol of hope. Everyone knew that Libertad had been once crushed by the police, and its leader executed publicly and without mercy. We had to give them a new savior. Someone they could put their faith in. Someone they would follow to the end of the world. And someone who they believed would give them salvation. And so I became that savior. I donned a new persona. I became Amadeus. Well, there you go. Amadeus. Judy. Judy? Huh? Thank you. For what? Nothing in particular. I just wanted to say thank you. Well, you're welcome. Anyway, it's already late and I'm tired. Judy lies down on the bed and keeps her eyes open. I don't know whether it was fate or pure chance that brought me and Judy together after I lost my hands, but now I can say that I really am thankful. It's funny because when I first met her in the factory backyard with Lise, I didn't think our paths would cross the way they did. I wonder if Judy would still be saved, or I wonder if Judy would have still saved me had we not met in the factory. I think she saved me because she knew Elise, and because she knew that Elise would have wanted that. In a way, I owe my life to Elise, too. It's too bad. I couldn't finish my research with Elise. But there is now something more important for us to work on together. If I can get Elise to join Libertad, that is. Realizing how late it is, I walk over to Judy and join her in bed. I feel Judy's warmth against my body, warmer and more precious to me than the heat from the hearth. Elise. Light day, the 11th of December, 3:18. In the morning, Judy and I go to Libertad's base. Along the way, we meet people who are leaving for work, ready to spend their day casting spells in a factory, exerting their mana, producing wealth for magical mechanical. But they won't be living this life for much longer. Our revolution will change everything. As we're walking, I notice an aged man sitting on the ground, his shoulder rested against the door of a house. His thin frame is shrouded in gloom, and there's no life in his downcast eyes. I've seen him before. He was there when I gave a speech to factory workers several months ago. Judy and I stop walking. I crouch down in front of the man, and he looks up. Amadeus. He calls my name teary-eyed, his voice weak. Why aren't you going to the factory? I'm not working there anymore. Well, where are you working now? I can guess his answer. I'm not working. Amadeus, what should I do? The factory fired me last month. I've used up all my savings and I'm out of work. Why did they fire you? Because I could no longer do my job on 2 bottles of mana a day. They refused to give me any more potions. They said I wasn't worth the cost. I must be getting old. 10 years ago, I was still able to finish the day with some mana left. Now 2 bottles isn't enough for me. What should I do now? I don't have money, and if I don't work, no one will hire me. The man is sobbing now. Tears are running down his cheeks. The sight of a grown man crying is heartbreaking. I want to die. Wow. Even when I still had a job, I never had a good life, and now it's worse. I can't take this anymore. Why are the gods doing this to me? Why are the gods letting this happen to me? Why aren't they doing anything? Why, Amadeus? Why haven't the gods helped me? Unfortunately, there are no gods who will protect you. The man looks away, tears silently running down his face. Look at your own life, and then look beyond it. Look beyond the pearls. Look beyond Overture. Look at this world where men and women and children are killed and innocent people suffer every day. If the gods won't help them, they sure as hell aren't going to help you. If the gods don't hear their pleas, they aren't going to hear yours either. From all which I've seen, I can only conclude that the gods either don't exist, or they are a huge bunch of pricks. I'd bet money on the latter. Life couldn't be this fucked up without some divine intervention. Wow. Damn. The man's sobs are getting louder. He buries his face in his hands. And I might as well just kill myself. If there's no hope for me, I'd rather just die than suffer every day. No, just because there's no hope from some god doesn't mean there's no hope at all. Be strong, and take that shit life throws at you. Scream, howl, bawl, do whatever you have to do to cope, but don't die. Not just yet. Raise a middle finger to the sky and shout, "Fuck you, life." Do your fucking worst and not die, just to spite whoever it is that is passively watching us suffer. Listen to me. Live for just one more day. You've endured shit your whole life. What's one more day to you? One more day? Yes. Do you think you can do that? Yes. But what am I gonna do tomorrow? The man is still sobbing, but his face paints a mark of hope. He stares at me, waiting for some promise of salvation. When tomorrow comes, live another day. I stand up and leave with Judy. Damn. Ji-sung, we finished all the preparations. Let's hope we'll succeed. We must succeed. The revolution must happen. We've got to stop Joff Godwin before Magical Mechanical, before they begin manufacturing analytical engines. Judy, analytical engines? Oh, what are you talking about? MMS secret project that our informant told us about? Yes, those machines could spell doom on many proles. Why? The analytical engine will be huge and very complex magic machine. Its components will have to be assembled with a very high degree of precision. It's also still in the very early age of development, which means they'll do rapid prototyping. So you're saying that MM will soon upgrade their factories with more magic machines? That's correct. That's certainly not good. It has been estimated the use of magic machines in factories will reduce Magical Mechanical's workforce by as much as 40%. Until now, Magical Mechanical has been using human workers because the very low wages still make them cheaper than magic machines. But if the production of analytical engines will require magic machines anyway, there will be no reason to keep those workers. Yes, and not only that, the analytical engine will be capable of doing complex mathematical computation. When its development is completed in 10 to 20 years, Magical Mechanical will use it to improve the factory's efficiency. Improved efficiency means a further reduction of workforce. That could mean hundreds of thousands of unemployed people. So many people are at risk of losing their job. Working in a factory sucks, but not having a job sucks even harder. I'm not against magic machines or the analytical engine as long as they're used for good. But judging from what Magical Mechanical has done to the pearls so far, I don't expect they'll improve the lives of people at the bottom of society. We have to make Joff Godwin and Magical Mechanical pay for their sins. If the gods won't punish them, we will. We will indeed. The plan is set. What's left is telling the pearls about it. Timing is delicate though. If we tell people too early, the police may also hear about it. But if we tell them too late, we won't be able to gather enough support. Exactly. Fire Day is the day we start the revolution. 3 more days. There's no choice but to send the word out today. We can tell people that Amadeus is giving an important speech on Fire Day morning. We don't need to mention the revolution explicitly. I can't be giving speeches all over the city in the same morning. We can tell people from different districts different things, so if Amadeus' speech is in one district, mana potions giveaway in another, soup kitchens in another, and so on. Yes, that's what I meant. Good idea. Having so many events in the same day may still raise suspicion though, but not big enough reason for the police to do anything drastic. We'll tell people the real plan is on Moon Day. Or we'll tell people the real plan on Moon Day. Just a day before. Do you think it'll be enough? Yes, the people hate Magical Mechanical. They believe in Libertad. Very well indeed. So it's decided. Let's do this. Judy, you'll be in charge of disseminating the information to the proles. Yes, sir. For Liberty. Well then, I'll go brief our members about Fire Day. Oh, I need to tell them one more thing. I need you to tell them one more thing. Of course, what is it? If they notice a woman named Elise looking for Amadeus, they're to tell her that Amadeus will be waiting at the same place as yesterday after sundown. Lady Elise? Very well, I'll tell them that. Amadeus, is something bothering you? Sometimes I wonder what would have become of me had I not lost my hands. Why worry about the could-haves and would-haves when there are still many cans and wheels to plan? You're right. Amadeus, for Liberty. For Liberty. Wow. And now we're going to Lord Frederick? Oh my god. Wow. This is crazy, guys. Alright guys, I don't know what's going to happen. We have branched out on a different branch. When I took this other path and I made Franz fight Frederick, I thought it was going to be another 15 to 20 minute ending, because the first ending that we had took originally was over in like 15 minutes, and that was the end of the story. It was kind of a weird, surprising ending where Elise wound up being the maid of Lord Frederick, and Franz. Franz, it basically said Franz and Elise never got the piano magic to work, and it really didn't say what happened to Franz. It was just the end, and it ended kind of suddenly and surprisingly. But now we've branched off on a whole new story where Franz has become a libertad, and where he's actually, it sounds like being a libertad is a good thing. So a huge turn in everything we expected. I absolutely love this visual novel because not only is it not just taken, you know, an ending where two different endings in 15 minutes after you make a choice, but the choices actually matter big time. This is even bigger differences than like The Walking Dead or whatever. I mean, the choices you make have severe differences in how the story goes. Instead, we're branching off on a huge different path, and it looks like it's not even close to being over. Again, I could be wrong, because I thought it wasn't close to being over last night when we decided to continue there. But guys, it's 2.5 hours. I kept reading this because I thought it was going to end. I thought it was going to say something, and I thought it was going to end. But no. Now we're going to Lord Frederick, and we're going to find out where he's at and what he's doing. So let's go ahead and save this, guys, and we'll continue with this branch of an octave higher tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and save, and we will continue with an octave higher. Whatever happens tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. I hope Frederick croaks. I wonder if Frederick ever got his. We'll find out tomorrow, AJ. Yeah, I can't go longer than 2.5 hours. I have to limit these things to something. Like I said, I didn't really want to have anyone, any episode branch more than about 1.5 hours, but I just kept reading and reading this branch because I thought it was going to end at some point, and I thought we'd be done with it. But man, I love the story. It's pretty good, ain't it, AJ? It is pretty good, especially this path. This path where we made Franz fight Frederick has been very, very good, I think. It's been emotional. For me, it has. It's been emotional. I'm like, yeah, this is sad and depressing and hopeful. Now I'm feeling hope. I'm kind of feeling hope for the poor people, the proles. So now I'm feeling completely different emotions than what I felt from the start of the story, where the proles were, you know, pathetic. And now I'm like, damn, you know, I hope Franz can pull this off and kick freaking Magical Mechanical and Lord, what's his name's butt. So, for Lord Frederick's father. Yeah. So anyway, guys, this is the best visual novel I've ever heard you read. Yeah, it's this thing really does play with your emotions. It's been pretty good. I've loved it. So I am impressed with you, AJ, that you're hanging out listening to this, because as you can see, there's not a whole lot of people listening to this story, and a lot of young people like you can care less about a well-written story or a book or whatever. So you do have a pretty good open mind, AJ, for a kid your age. Like I said, most people would rather watch, they want to watch, you know, brutal fighting or Dead by Daylight or, you know, Call of Duty or whatever. You'll get thousands of people watching a Call of Duty game, but nobody cares about a novel or a book, no matter how well it's written. And if more people understood the power of writing, I think they would see that a game like this can be way better than a $60 AAA FPS shooter. And even, you know, even really good TV shows and movies can't express themselves the way that words can. So a really well-written story can be far better than a AAA, you know, big-time Hollywood effects, super special effects movie, because even special effects can't get across some things that words can get across. So it's been awesome. Yeah, I love hearing this, and I couldn't be more thankful to you, Zach, for reading it out. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of... one thing I gotta say is there's not a whole lot of people on YouTube that read the kind of visual novels that I read. I guarantee you, I haven't looked yet, but I guarantee you there's been nobody else that's read an Octave Higher or all of it like this. I don't think so anyway. I know that I'm the only one that read Zombie Exodus, and Zombie Exodus was like 28 hours or something like that. And there was a few people that started reading Zombie Exodus, but nobody even got close to finishing it. And I was the only one. So that is one thing special about me being a YouTuber. I'm like the only mofo that'll actually read in a long story like this to my viewers. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad, you know, somebody's out there enjoying it. So that inspires me to continue and keep doing it. If I had nobody watching, then, you know, I may not be inspired to keep reading. But I'm enjoying the story, and I guess as long as I'm reading it to myself, if somebody else can get something out of it, then I'm happy to do it. All right, guys, AJ, whoever else is out there and lurking, whoever else is out there and working, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for being here. Hopefully you're still awake. Hopefully you're having a good day or night. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for Livestream Under the Moonshine number 184 and part 8 of an Octave Higher. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. Have a good day. Actually, I'll be playing Dead by Daylight for a little while here. I'm going to take about an hour break. I'll probably be back up in about an hour or so, and I'll be doing Games of Our Lives, just a late episode. So I'll be doing some Dead by Daylight, I think, in that one. So we'll see you guys here in about an hour or so. Peace, everybody. Have a good day.